All right, let me share my screen because we have some awesome slides and awesome content coming your way tonight. Oh my gosh, the joys of working from home. And our office was slightly flooded. I don't know if anyone else in Sydney has been affected by water, but anyways, it's fun working from home with an energetic puppy. So if you hear her in the background throughout tonight, I apologize. Living proof why you shouldn't get a pup. No, she's okay sometimes. Well, we have enough people here. We're going to get started. I'll stop just mumbling nonsense. It is such a pleasure to have you all here tonight. Like I said, this is all about you. This is about our mentors and mentees. It has been an absolute joy working with this cohort of mentors and mentees over the past couple of months. Tonight, we will get to hear from them, hear from the people who made it happen, recognize the success that it has been, because this is part of a larger movement, you could call it, of Pathway to Employment. We'll go through why we started this program, why we wanted to explore this space that we haven't done before. And we were able to work with AVI to create what I think is now an awesome program that we're hoping to continue long into the future. So we get to recognize why it started, what we've achieved so far, and what we're looking forward to in the future. But before we do start, I would love to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands that I'm joining from. So it's the Darug people of the Darug Nation, and extend that respect to elders past, present, and emerging, not just from where I'm from, but from wherever you're tuning in from today. Extend that respect to any elders or past, present, emerging here today. So thank you so much for joining us. It's an action-packed evening. You won't want to miss a second of it. But before we get started, let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Will. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at Communiteer. I get to work with our mentors in particular in this program, and it is such a joy. And I had the pleasure of working with Jayna, who I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I would like to acknowledge the Bidjigal people of the Darug Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land that I am on right now. And yeah, I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator. So I work closely with Willem. And yeah, I've been working with the mentees through this program. Yeah, and we've also got our third facilitator, Victor, who is the CEO and founder of Communiteer. Yeah, I'll pass it back to Willem if you wanted to share a little bit more about Victor.
Yeah, well, Victor's going to introduce himself a little bit later, and so will our speakers for tonight. Like I said, it's action-packed. We have so many awesome people presenting tonight. We have Kylie Willow from AVI, John O'Hare from Dell, Louise Dean, also from Dell, and Anu Stevens from the University of Wollongong. Such a pleasure to have you all here tonight. And I'll let them introduce themselves when they start speaking throughout the night. What a lineup. And this is the agenda that we're going through tonight. So like I said, it's all about you. We would love to show you how and what's happened, hear from the people involved, and hear from you. I had the absolute pleasure of doing these video interviews, and you get to get a bit of an insight into what those interviews are like. So I'm really excited for everyone to experience this as a collective. You've all had your own experiences, and now we get to see it all together. Really exciting. Okay, without further ado, I'll let Victor take the stage and tell us the vision behind PTE, Pathway to Employment, and why it began.
Thanks, Will, and thank you for everyone for coming tonight. I guess just sharing a bit of the why. We all know that the first job is always the toughest to secure, and it certainly doesn't help to be entering the workforce during the economic downturn. In early 2020, when we first thought of this campaign, we heard a lot of tragic stories of students losing their casual jobs, unable to feed themselves, or even going homeless temporarily because they were also denied going back home. And whilst this type of crisis has certainly stabilized, another type of a crisis has emerged in the form of a youth employment crisis. We believe that the pandemic's really created a perfect storm, whereby a number of soon-to-be graduates and recent graduates are all entering the job market at the same time. Yes, we've heard of a lot of news articles about the fight for talent, and there's a record number of jobs. But from our point of view, it's not really at that kind of graduate end of town. So when we do talk to the universities and also their students, the most pressing issue on top of students' mind is actually about the employability. What's my competitive advantage? What's the job market like out there? And for those who, give you an example, work in, study event management, for example, is my sector even going to exist post-COVID? Was some of the kind of teething issues that I had to deal with for the first time. This kind of uncertainty, the anxiety and the self-doubts are really emotional baggages that's been simmering at the center of this youth employment crisis. And this is why we're actually doing this campaign, the Pathway to Employment campaign, to really increase the students' confidence in gaining employment. Next slide, please. So onto a bit about the how. It's a very complicated diagram. Just let me try to simplify it for you. I guess in the last 6 months, we've been working with 4 key stakeholder groups to create a community in order to help young people to thrive. We collaborated with corporates to raise awareness about this youth employment crisis and to engage and mobilize their staff to volunteer their time, their skills, and their expertise. We also collaborated with universities to connect with their students and promote this campaign to complement their journey in carving out their career paths. Of course, as a social enterprise, we definitely collaborated with not-for-profit organizations to identify opportunities that would enable students to hone their skills whilst creating social impact at the same time. But last but not least, we also collaborated with partners such as Australian Volunteers International to really co-design and co-create this program and to provide the additional support that we feel students would need, especially if they're from a diverse background or they have complex issues. Communiteer, as always, played a part of a facilitator role and coordinated all the inputs and outputs in this community such that we can actually all achieve the desirable outcomes. Next slide, please. So on that note, I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of our partners for making this campaign a success. It's been a very challenging 6 months, not just for people in general, but also for businesses and universities. So we certainly don't take it for granted that each participating organization has gone the extra mile and to give this a go and really kind of provide the communication, the input, the resources that we asked them for in order to make this campaign a success. Whether that's volunteering your time, mobilizing your peers to do the same, connecting us to the decision makers, or jumping through a fair bit of red tape to get this campaign going in your organization. I just want to say on behalf of Communiteer, a simple and sincere thank you for enabling us to make this happen. I'm now going to hand over the floor back to Will so that we can actually talk about some of the outputs and experience from our mentors and mentees. Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Victor, and love to echo the thank you to our partners. I also wanted to do a quick pause. I know not everyone was here at the start, so we have this awesome background because again, we want to say congratulations for completing this program, or some of you are still working through it, and that's okay too. So Liv is going to send this background in the chat. Like I said, free digital download for you and a friend. You can pass it around if you like. Anyways, no, yeah, you can use this virtual background for this Zoom session. Particularly, I don't know if you saw on the agenda, we want to take a selfie at the end of the session. I'm not that young, but I feel like selfie encapsulates what we'll be doing on Zoom. We'll take a screenshot or something like that. But we would love for everyone, if possible, to have this background because it looks awesome. It's really cool to have everyone using the same backgrounds. There it is in the chat. I'm going to move right along because, like I said, this is actually the 4th cohort to do the Pathway to Employment mentoring program. And it's really exciting because once we've done 4 programs, now that we've gone through 4 different cohorts, we can actually see a whole lot of impact. So here are just some of the numbers on the student side. You can see that this program is interesting. We had 426 expressions of interest from students. You can see that it's meeting a need and why students would find this so valuable. We'll have Anu from University of Wollongong speaking into that a bit more, but it was so cool to see students taking the initiative to sign up to programs like this. And we actually had 182 students come through and enroll. So we use that language enrolled because we couldn't match everyone to a mentor. We would love more mentors, but we couldn't match everyone. So those who weren't able to get a mentor were actually able to work through the content themselves, either with a mentor of their own choice, just someone in their lives, or with a friend. It doesn't have to be a mentor program, can be a buddy program. The content put together by AVI was awesome and really helpful to think about your career goals and your life. So it was great to engage with students from many different universities, 22 different universities. It's a big reach. I don't think I could name 22 different universities, but it was great to see these students engaged and wanting to come along to this program. Now, with 182 students enrolled, we did have 87 corporate staff signed up or expressed interest, and that went through, I think 60 is actually lowballing. I think we ended up with 65 pairs. So it was really cool to see those partners come together and form those relationships. We had mentors from EY, Dell, Roche, Pfizer, and Toyota. So a wide range of not just industries, but spaces within those industries. So different teams. And it was really cool to see the way we had mentors who were in their first year of working at these companies, through to experienced veterans who've been around for longer than I've been alive. And they all had amazing ways to speak into these lives of these university students and mentor them and guide them on in their journey. And what Communiteer does, we're all about social impact. So we'll talk about this in the student side a bit later, but part of the mentoring program is actually equipping the next generation of young workers to be supported as they enter the workplace so that they are primed to start giving back. We know the chaotic energy of the first couple of years of getting used to full-time work, and we want to help assist that process with that idea that you can now give it forward. So we actually had some of our student mentees volunteer for some of the not-for-profits on our platform. So I think 30 different opportunities were joined by our students. And it was really cool to see, yeah, that's immediate. That's not even, I finished a program, what can I do? Straight into supporting not-for-profits in that journey. Over 1,000 hours of volunteering. So good to see. So this is a multifaceted program with impacts not just in the students' lives, but in the lives of those around them. Now, that's enough of me talking about Pathway to Employment. I'd love to invite Kylie to share about AVI's involvement. Yeah, Kylie,
Thanks,
and introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Kylie from AVI. I may have met some of you at the welcome workshops, and I'm joining you from Runduru country today. It's been so great for all that snapshot, Will. Thank you. It just really solidifies why we did this in the first place. Yeah, and how many people it's impacted. It's really heartwarming for me, to be honest, and perhaps. Yeah, I'm getting a bit reflective, I think. You know, we started this as a pilot program, and I know it's been so successful, and it's just, yeah, so rewarding to know that it's only going to go from strength to strength from here. So yeah, really today, just wanting to say some reflections, but also a big thank you. But firstly, let's reflect. So AVI, we have been around for 70 years now. Matching both skilled volunteers and mentors with our partners in country based on their needs to come together, you know, for a for a great relationship. And we get a whole lot of feedback from the volunteers and mentors as they finish up their programs. It's very varied, but there are certainly there's some clear themes. You know, and one of those messages is definitely that you know, volunteers gain more than what they've given, you know, and that's unexpected. And I know that that's probably been a bit of a catch cry for our program as well, but it's so true, because you can go into a situation such as this thinking you might get certain things out of it or be able to bring certain things to it. But, you know, really throwing yourself in there, you often gain back more than what you give. So yes, hopefully it's been rewarding, and I know the mentees have set their goals, and I'm hoping that all of those have been achieved, but perhaps you've come across challenges as well, and that weren't expected. So you may have had some highs and lows, and I actually really do hope you've had those. Maybe it sounds a little bit cruel, but I hope you have, because it really shows that you've thrown yourself in there, you've been vulnerable, open to learning, and you've gone through the ups and downs of learning and all that comes with it. I really do think that being both a mentor and a mentee is a privilege. For mentors, you're sharing it is a privilege to share your knowledge and experience with an open, willing mind who's willing to learn and listen to you and put that into action. And, for mentees, what a privilege that a mentor is investing time with you and sharing their knowledge, their lived experience with no expectation of return. I actually think that that's a beautiful thing, and, such a privilege that we've been able to, to enable, that growth through Pathways to Employment. I do often hear feedback from PTE, but also from students more broadly when they participate in a mentee program such as this, is that it really gives them the opportunity to learn about, who they are, who they want to be, the type of career that they're really wanting to have an impact in, all of those other things that they may not necessarily have learnt through their, through their academic learning. No offense to universities, but it just shows that, the wealth and the value that this program, it really is invaluable. So I hope it has been a good opportunity for you all. I know the mentors shared their pearls of wisdom at the start of the mentee workshop. I hope you've got to share all of that with your mentees, and you've had that growing from there. For me personally, I've been involved with Will and the team at Communiteer, and I found it a really rewarding process myself. Probably the same thing. I went in with expectations on what things were going to be like, and we've gone through that journey as well. But I loved how, we've grown together, we've grown the program, and I've really appreciated, we've got these mutual ethics, and I've enjoyed working with you, Will, and the team. So a big thank you. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being willing. Thank you for being vulnerable. I hope you all watched that Brené Brown YouTube video. I hope you, face some challenges. That takes bravery. I hope you're being brave, and thank you for your time. I know that time is valuable, and perhaps we all need more time than what we've got, but, giving your time willingly and freely, it's really appreciated. To do a shameless AVI plug, I also hope that, AVI, with how many of our programs are skilled volunteering, I hope that we do see you back joining AVI in our skilled volunteering program as well, along the track in your journey. So I'm wanting to wish you all the very best ahead with your careers and future. Thank you for being part of the Pathway to Employment program. Thanks, and I'll hand back to you, Will.
Thank you so much, Kylie. Hit her with the clap reaction if you've got it there. It has been such a pleasure working with AVI. Quite a few of our mentors actually had volunteered through AVI before, so it was quite cool for them to come into this program and see this connection to a company they were already familiar with. AVI are such a reputable organization, and are doing amazing things in the volunteering world. So yes, if you see an opportunity to work with them, take it with both hands. And I would like to echo the pleasure of working with AVI. They are experts in mentoring. We couldn't have run it without them. A lot of the feedback from our mentors is that this program is a great balance of quite structured, the week by week, all the materials that you were able to work through was all done by AVI. But you also had the freedom to use that as a conversation starter and then take it in your own direction and working towards those goals. So thank you again, Kylie and the AVI team, for your involvement in this program. It's been such a pleasure. Now, we get to go to the mentor side, and I'd love to invite Louise to speak, because she is part of the team that made this happen for our mentors. We love our mentors, and particularly this cohort, we got such glowing feedback from our mentors. So Louise, I'd love to invite you to introduce yourself, let us know who you are and your involvement in the program.
Thanks, Willem, and thanks, Victor and Olivia and the team. And it's fantastic to be here tonight to share in this celebration. You know, it's really important in these times that we take time to celebrate the successes, that we don't often do that. So I'm Lou. Most of you probably know me. I'm at Dell, leading the Asia Pacific, Japan, China social impact initiatives across Dell, and really got involved with speaking to Victor and the team, you know, begun to that journey of really enjoying to work with Victor and the team several months ago, you know, last year. And, you know, really it's been an amazing journey, and I've really loved it working with you all at Communiteer. I think you've got an amazing group of people. Really feel like I've, you know, found my tribe to work with you all. And I guess my involvement to the program really was to introduce, you know, originally back when Victor and I spoke about this program, was really the introduction of Victor and the team and the Pathway to Employment program into Dell. So, you know, brokered discussions with Helen Muscus, the social impact leads in Dell, in ANZ, and, you know, some key stakeholders, and really kind of helped launch that communications that went out to drive, you know, recruitment of all our mentors on the call tonight. So I want to give, you know, the team at Communiteer a massive thank you for, you know, I guess creating this program, which is so amazing and impactful across Australia with so many stakeholders. And I want to give a massive thank you. I wish you could roll the drum here, Victor, and have some, you know, applause music. But a tremendous thank you to all the Dell mentors, because, you know, it was tremendously amazing to see, you know, all the Dell volunteers sign up for this. So really thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's meant so much that you're all here tonight. And, you know, we're really excited to hear about your individual journey. If I look at the value of mentoring, you know, so I mean, Victor said a lot of it, you know, a lot of people on the call tonight have said a lot, but it's, you know, for me, it's around supporting someone, you know, having someone to believe in you and walk that journey together and be an inspiration and a motivation, keep you accountable on your goals, you know, connections. I think one of the big things here is really networking and helping with connections. I know I was pulled into Sophie to call with Talia. You know, we had a three-way meeting around helping Talia to look at future careers and sustainability. So that was my part in this. And if we look at how this plays into Dell, this program plays into Dell, then it really does play into our moonshot goals for 2030. You know, each year through to 2030, 50% of our people inspired by social impact and education and empowered initiatives will be those who identify as girls, women, or underrepresented groups. So this program is so important to us as we look at, you know, promoting the SDG goals of decent work and economic growth, gender equality, cultivated inclusion and transforming lives, and, you know, quality education. So massive alignment with Dell and our social impact goals, obviously, and that's the reason, you know, one of the reasons we took it on, but also to give students a chance out there. You know, I've been involved in mentoring for many years, involved in mentoring high school students, university students, and became a kindness coach last year with Bambuda, again, coaching underrepresented groups. And so, you know, it's so thrilling to, as a mentor, you definitely do get a two-way, it's definitely a two-way thing. It's not just the mentee that benefits. You know, I found mentoring to be an incredible, fulfilling, you know, inspirational for me as well. So I want to hand over back to Willem, and thank you very much for allow me a little bit of time tonight just to say really a massive thank you to everyone. And great job. Hand back to Willem and the team. And I know that we've got the amazing John O'Hare coming on. So really big thanks to John. He is a massive social impact planet warrior inside Dell and amazing character. I just love John. So back to Willem.
Well, that was a great introduction, Lee. Thank you very much for that. I'll just pass straight over to John, who's already gotten a huge rap from you.
Well, yeah, just nothing like being put on a pedestal like that, eh? The only way to go is down.
No pressure, John.
Okay. No, thanks, Louise. Much appreciated. And look, a big thanks to you, Willem, and Olivia from PG Communiteer for everything you've done making today happen, but also this whole session, and also Kylie from ADI. Victor, you and I have not interacted, but it was very inspiring to hear you speak a bit earlier on. So thanks all of you for not just being inclusive to Dell and other companies and the many universities who've been involved, but also just for making this this event happen today. I wasn't expecting this when I signed up for it, much less my own free super premium background that I can use on Zoom now forevermore. That's just an added bonus. We do have rules about accepting corporate gifts, but I'm sure that one's okay, Willem. So, but yes, look, all levity aside, I've got an awful lot out of this program, and I've learned a lot too from the process. Similar to Louise, I've been involved in mentoring for a number of years now. But prior to this program, it's primarily been internal within my organization. And that's great. And it's very rewarding. And I've had mentors myself within Dell Technologies as well. And the mentoring tends to be very much about how do I improve myself in my career? Or how do I get myself that next promotion? How do I get into that side of the organization? How do I learn this skill? And it's all very... when I use the word internal, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not large scale, but it's very much what we have grown up with as long-term employees of Dell Technologies. Getting involved with this Communiteer program, the things that my mentee I've been lined up with, a young man called Ali, very, very smart cookie, has been completely different. And as a result, that's both challenged me and rewarded me. And if he's taken away a percentage of what we've discussed, that's going to be incredibly valuable for me. So it's been a great process. It really has. In terms of why I was really, really happy to be asked to be part of this program. Obviously, not only did I have a reputation far superior than that I knew about, which Louise has now laid out for us. It's also the fact that as a university student, for me, in the 90s, that was last century as well, to give you some idea of the age this beautiful, youthful face is carrying. There wasn't really anything like this at the university I went to. The university I went to was very forward-thinking. In fact, in 1995, it was one of only 3 universities in the entire United Kingdom which considered information technology to be a degree-worthy subject. For every other university in the UK at that time, IT was considered something fringe, something part of a business studies degree. So when I say that IT was considered not just a core degree, but a Bachelor of Science, that gave some indication of how forward-thinking my university was. So I was very lucky from that aspect. But programs like this didn't exist. We had some kind of corporate interactions, but they were very limited, and they were often just talking to a lecture theatre. There was never really anything to help develop us or ready us for the corporate world. And so when I was given the opportunity to get involved in this, that for me was fabulous, because there was a comment made earlier on by Kylie, I think, that there's never any disrespect meant to a university when we talk about the real world versus academia. They are different. It's just a reality. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Being able to join one to the other is a great opportunity to have, and to be able to be part of that and to help people bridge that gap is, for me, incredibly rewarding. So I think I might stop there and just pass the talking stick back. But no, thanks again to everybody who's made this happen. Thanks, Ali, for being a fantastic mentee, and to you know, everyone else who's taken the chance to be part of this program. You are doing something great for yourself, and you're doing something great for your university, and you're really showing Communiteer and API that they are doing fantastic work. And no, hats off to you. So thanks all. And I'll hand back now to the next speaker.
Thank you so much, John. Reactions. Maybe it's because I'm sharing my screen. I can't figure out how to do it, so I'll just give you a good old-fashioned real clap. Thank you so much, John. One of our esteemed group of mentors. And if you had the pleasure of attending an online university graduation, this might seem a bit familiar, where you get to see the names of the mentors involved. I would have loved to, I don't know, get you up and shake your hand and pass you a certificate or something like that. I don't know, but these are the names of the mentors. Like I said, we got such glowing reports from all of our students about the quality of the mentors and the way that they gave up their time and were so dedicated to supporting their students. So thank you so much. We do have a certificate that, again, free digital copy will be emailed out to you. So look forward to receiving those. We did have a huge cohort from Dell. So again, thank you to Louise and the Dell team for coming along. But we also had representatives from 7 Network Australia, from Toyota, and from Pfizer as well. So thank you so much for giving up your time and getting involved in this program. You've made such a collective impact. And I want to share some of the insights from our mentors and what they got out of it. So we have a chance to hear from our mentors. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
So my name's Sindhu, I work at Dell Technologies, and yeah, I came in through to this mentoring program through one of our employee resource groups, and I guess I wanted to do the program because I'm really passionate about helping younger people, you know, get into the workplace, get started in their career life, etc. When I was going through uni, when I was getting started in uni, obviously I sought mentorship and I wanted to learn from people who were a bit more experienced than me, knew, I guess, a little bit more about life. So yeah, I guess it was kind of my chance to give back and get to know more people as well. And yeah, definitely aligns with my values.
My name is Jayna Gali. I work as a manager across vehicle planning in product planning and development division of Toyota Australia. I'm so passionate about mentoring and supporting others to get to where they want to be. At points in my life where I had very strong mentors, whether it's a manager or a colleague that really helped me, or the times that I really needed a mentor and I didn't find one. And I actually think that the mentor can sort of help you, whether shape your thinking. And sometimes you're a bit lost on what you want to do, or thinking about something just by yourself without someone that may have a little bit more experience in this field or a little bit knowledge about something can help you not necessarily direct your thinking, but support your thinking to shape up a little bit what you want to do.
I'm Henia Collinard, work for Dell Technologies in the Global Technology Supply Chain team. The goal was very simple. We just wanted to be able to get to a point where we were very clear about our career directions and how we were going to, you know, apply and actively pursue the roles after uni finished, and how best to do that, how best to you know, network and market yourself and get yourself out there.
So good. Give our mentors just a final clap, react, or a celebrate. I think you could choose any emoji. My favorite one is the cowboy. Anyways. Thank you so much again to our mentors. So good to hear from them. We'd love to take it now to the student side, and we'd love to introduce Anu Stevens from, oh my gosh, there we go. Anu Stevens from University of Wollongong.
Thank you. So I'm actually joining you from the beautiful but very wet Dharawal country. And I hope that everyone's been staying safe over the last couple of days. It's been crazy times down here. But UOW was proud to partner with Communiteer because Communiteer reflects our focus on developing what we call the T-shaped graduate. So when we talk about the T-shaped graduate, we are imagining a capital T with the vertical bar being that really deep, rich disciplinary knowledge or your industry knowledge. And this is something that universities have traditionally focused on forever. But then we move to the crossbar at the top of the T. And this is all the key skills that our graduates need to have as they move into their careers. And it's the sort of skills that you need to have to be ready for the future. So that would be things like problem solving, critical thinking, cultural knowledge, innovation, global economy, sustainability. So all of those really great top level sort of ideas. So these skills are the ones that will allow students to be agile in their career and allow students to take their knowledge and apply it to a whole range of different careers. We can break these down a little bit further, even if we start to talk about the transferable skills that are there as well. And they're the everyday skills that students develop throughout their lives, but they also need to be fostered, directed, and shaped throughout education and throughout part-time work, through things such as volunteering and mentoring. So they're the types of things like communication, teamwork, resilience, autonomy, and time management are a couple of good examples there. And these type of skills are the ones that you see over and over again in all of your position descriptions that you're reading. So the mentoring program has been a real help to our students identify these key skills in themselves and possibly identify opportunities, different ways that they can develop them further. And having a mentor recognize that and pull out those transferable skills in our students is such a valuable process. And it gives the student the confidence to be able to build them further, but also to be able to sell them throughout the application process. So the other thing is we know that getting a degree is only part of the challenge when finding meaningful careers. So education needs to be supported through other things such as experience, networks, and nurtured through things such as mentoring programs like the one offered by Communiteer. So UOW partnered with Communiteer at a time where students were really missing that connection and they were unable to physically go out and find it because of the opportunities weren't there because of the pandemic. So I know Victor touched on that before. So that real lack of opportunity for engagement, for meaningful activities, for to get the key skills that they traditionally would have in part-time work even, because those opportunities weren't there. So while that was the reality of this for the student, we know now that industry kept pivoting with all the challenges and kept moving forward. And now we find ourselves in a really different employment market where students have a different range of opportunities. So they may not be what we had pre-pandemic, but there's definitely a different range of opportunities out there. But they need to be able to identify, develop, and then sell those transferable skills in order to access those opportunities. And with the help of their community mentor, now they know how to do that. So that's really fantastic. The mentoring relationships that the UOW students developed have not only helped by developing action plans to address skills gap, but the mentors have also imparted like a whole range of skills and knowledge on things that relate directly to the way of work. So I'm talking about things like workplace expectations, workplace behaviours, industry standards, and they've been able to support students' education with real work examples and provide that really important touch point through for industry, which has been really, really important and such a valuable skill. UOW believes in the community commitment to the SDGs, and this has been a massive draw card for both the university to get involved, but also the students as well. So UOW students are really engaged, they're passionate, they're committed to making social change. But at the same time, we see that students are really overwhelmed with current events. They can be overcommitted with work or study. And in some cases, they might just be a little bit disillusioned by government policy that doesn't necessarily reflect their values. So Communiteer has been able to offer a bit of a light to show students a different way to get involved. And it also normalizes that long-term value and those long-term views that we're trying to foster of giving back to the community through service and volunteering, which is fantastic. So while this particular cohort that's receiving recognition tonight might be a bit busy passing their qualifications in the short term, I'm really confident that we're looking at a new generation of community volunteers and that they're going to make a fantastic difference on the ground floor. So I would like to say congratulations to everybody that's completed the program. You've really developed your skills and you're working on that T shape. So even if you don't know it, that is pretty much what you've been doing this whole process. And also to the mentors, a big thank you for taking the time to support and foster our students. And I firmly believe that you're still developing your T shape as well, because it's always changing and growing and strengthening that. So thank you very much for building those key relationships and supporting our students through that process. And I also wanted to say a really big thank you to both Communiteer and to AVI about making the process so easy. It's really reflective. The platform itself, the referral process and the engagement that you guys have achieved on the platform is fantastic. And it really does reflect the needs of the students that are coming through at the moment. So thank you very much for that as well. And I shall pass you back over to Jayna.
Good, thank you. So yeah, thank you so much, Anu. I think you covered the mentee experience incredibly well. And with that, I'd like to move on to acknowledging all of the mentees who participated in the mentoring program for the Dianella cohort. Yeah, so we had so many students joining from all different disciplines at incredibly different stages of their education or even their search for employment, and even located in different countries. So we had this cohort ran over the Christmas period. So a lot of, I guess, mentees as well as mentors were traveling around the time, and they still made it work. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And yeah, mentoring is an incredibly unique experience to each pair, and it's dependent on both the mentor and the mentee, and it's been super inspiring to be able to see our mentees expressing interest in being mentored and in working with their mentors to build their professional skills and the soft skills as well, which Anu mentioned before, and their overall confidence. Yeah, so there's been a lot of personal growth in this program. And I would also like to acknowledge and congratulate the students who were part of the cohort but were not matched. So I know that there are a few of you that have been working through the modules on your own. And like Will mentioned before, a few that were working through the modules with mentors that they've found within their personal lives. Yeah, so you guys definitely deserve a really big congratulations as well, and a big thank you as well. Yeah, so it's just been really great seeing the program, helping the transition into the workforce, and helping in the search for full-time employment, and all the while shaping them to help create social impact within their professional development as well. Yeah, so congratulations to everyone in the Dianella cohort, and thank you so much. And we'll move on to the next slide, please, Will. All good, perfect. So yeah, so we'll just have a little bit of a mentee spotlight as well, where you'll be hearing from a few of our mentees about their experience with the program.
When I started the PT program, I was in the middle of a job search, and then as luck would have it, 2 days before the program started, I actually managed to find a job. So my purpose for starting the PT program kind of changed, I guess. Initially, I wanted to get into it to find a bit more about interview tips, learning how to adjust to the workplace after I graduate from university. But since I found a job, I wanted more advice about how to sort of maintain the work-life balance, how to go from studying full-time to working full-time, and just general tips about working in the industry.
More confident and less scared, and the whole doubts and questions that I had in the beginning of like, oh my God, I'm going to transition from academic at some point, leave and try to link the academic knowledge that I have so far with professional knowledge. And my mentor was like, okay, most of the times when you're in a working environment, the things that you learned in school, they will not be as, scary. It's automatic. It's like, it's almost like a survival instinct. You'll know what to do when a situation comes. I mean, it has been a roller coaster, if I'm being honest, but it has, boosted a lot of my confidence, and I'm more, I would say, free or open to like give my opinions whenever I'm working in a team. It's like voicing my thoughts more and learning to listen and hear a bit more of what other people are saying and paying attention to that.
So far, it has basically exceeded anything that I thought it would have been. When me and my mentor, Janice, first met, it was like an instant click. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Like, I had a good feeling about it. But every week, every time we meet up, I just know that I'm going to get something out of a meeting. There's this concept that we've been working on, like, not tooting your own horn, but like knowing that you will be in addition to a team as well. Like, you shouldn't think of yourself as inferior, because in the workforce, it's not. We've also debunked this idea of like the stereotypical kind of ladder. Every person should be aware of their skills, and I think everyone has something to bring to the table. Even though you might be like 21, 22, freshly coming out of uni, that doesn't mean that, you should have less opportunity to start a job, because you, in comparison to, a senior, maybe older person in a team, you have two very different perspectives to bring. And just because you're younger doesn't mean that that is limited.
Yeah, so once again, thank you to all our mentees for being a part of the program. And I'm hoping that you guys have found it as valuable as we believe it to be. And with that, we will be moving on to our final words. I'd just like to prompt one more time, and we do have amazing backgrounds. We will be taking a photo at the very end of this event today. I'll get Liv to send the photo one more time, just in case you've been dropping in and out or you haven't managed to download it yet. Just to upload it so you can join us. We can all match as we take our final photo at the very end. With that, I'll pass back to Will for some closing remarks.
Thank you. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I don't know if something weird popped up on my screen, but I lost everyone. So I'm just gonna, there you all are. So good to see you. We don't even need the slides anymore, because I wanted to talk about what's next, because it has been such a wonderful 3-4 months. Time flies when you're having fun with you all. I would love to look forward to the future. I know many of you are still meeting together. So all the best as you work through that content, as you work towards those 10 meetings. It's not a magic number, but we do think that by investing that much time together, that's a great foundation for an ongoing relationship between the two of you. Please do reach out if you do come across any trouble. We're still here to support you in any way. And for those who've completed those 10 meetings or worked through the content, please keep in touch with each other, but also with us. Shoot us a message or an email or connect with us on LinkedIn. We'd love to stay involved and hear how you're going and where you progress from here. And speaking of LinkedIn, why not share a post shouting out your mentor or your mentee? I think I share an example of someone that did this in one of the emails I've sent out, but it's a great way to show people the kind of programs that are out there and how people can be giving back. But I'm saying all this because I don't want this to just be the end. I want this to be the beginning of something new, to quote High School Musical. But it has been touched on, but we hope that this program would help create a generation of young professionals already empowered to make a difference. We would love you, the students, to begin volunteering with Communiteer. We know that first year or so of full-time work can be daunting. It's hard to adjust energy levels and social lives and all the rest. So we want to help empower you to start that giving cycle and start giving back as soon as possible. You already have a Communiteer account. You already have access to something like over 400 not-for-profits on Communiteer at the moment, looking for volunteers. So you already have the tools to get started. You already have the support of someone behind you. We would love to keep working with you in that way and continue making a difference in our community. We have an easy way to get started. If you don't know how to get started, we actually run regular events for our volunteers to learn about the not-for-profits that are out there and the ways that you can get involved. So if you find that interesting, but you don't know where to get started, there's a link in the chat just sent by the lovely Liv to come along to our Story Circles event. So if you're a student or a mentor, mentors are welcome along as well. But if you want to start volunteering, that is an awesome way to start. For our mentors, I feel like I've said it so many times, but I cannot convey how impressed we've been with you all. And it feels selfish asking this, but we would love to have you back. We will be running this program forever, maybe not forever, but long term. We have our next cohort Eucalyptus. I've been waiting for E ever since we started the Australian native titles for our groups. I don't know if this was group Dianella. I'd never heard of that plant before, but it's, as Kylie said, it's technically a weed, but to some people, a weed is a beautiful flower. And that's not a complete metaphor for this cohort, but Eucalyptus is coming up next at the end of March. And if you're interested, we'd love to have you along. If you need a breather, very understandable. We also have a cruise starting in June. So if you're ready to go right now, you could click on this link that Liv has sent, and that's actually will take you to our mentor welcome workshop for March. Of course, you've already attended a welcome workshop. So if you're interested, just fill it out so we have your details and you've said you're interested, and we'll get in touch. But you don't have to attend the workshop again. It's only been a few months. We can just send a quick refresher, but we'd love to have you back either now or in the future. Please stay in touch or let us know if you're interested. We've already had some mentors reach out and say they're keen to go again. So if that's you and you're interested, please do so. We'd love to have you back because you're all so high quality. So that's the link there in the chat. Now, if you're here and you're not a mentor or a mentee and you want to get involved, or you thought that this is something that should happen to everyone, I don't know, maybe like watching the student video, I was like, every student should have an opportunity to be in a program like this. If you're involved in a university and you want to get this happening at your university, we'll be in touch. Or you can reach out to us. We'd love to talk about how we can make it happen. If you're like Louise and you think this would be a great way for my employees and our staff to give back, to mentor and grow themselves, then we'll also be in touch. Please reach out. Let us know if you're interested. We would love to make this happen big time on a big scale across Australia. There will be a recording of this session on the web. We'll send out a link and you'll be able to access that. We'd love to stay in touch and keep you involved. Any questions or anything like that, feel free to message me right now in the chat or follow up in an email later.